All right, folks, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon, right on back from our Traders Talk workshop. We just finished up earlier here this morning, this afternoon, wherever you may reside. Great to have all of us back here live inside our trading room. Great to see Jeff, Tim, Gillis, Michael. Got all of us just here from before. Laureen, Chuck, Joe. We got Debbie, Glenn, Lewis, Kevin. About 112 of us right now live inside our room. And if you're joining us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works popping up right there, right below me at Cyber Trading You, just as always. Be a friend, tell a friend, look to hit the follow or subscribe button right down there. But with that said, Wolf is trying to make another big move up here heading into this afternoon. We killed it on this trade from earlier today. And even right now as we're talking, if it fails to make the higher high, it is at least attempting to do exactly what I needed it to do here so far for us. And that is to flip this 250 level here, 250 into or from resistance into a support. So it broke above it. It moved up about like 20, 25 cents. Now is the time to see this materialize. And if this fails to hold support, if this makes a lower low here coming up, we'll scrap it. We'll scrap it right away. There's bigger and easier fish in the sea to catch. Not every stock even goes up 114% like this already did. I know we get so used to these stocks that are up, 500, 1,000%. Just from last week, we had the BMNR trade. That was an anomaly. Even just a moment ago, hey, we caught one just before, but it's dragging back down. Asset, ASST. So at least going back to that wolf for right now, as long as it stays over support here by the end of this meeting, I'll put it on our list here. But the second this makes a lower low, we are done with it. All right. Now, with that in mind, what I could probably just do here is rerun my scan, go across the percent gainers list right away. We finished off our workshop just earlier this morning, tripping over my words now, going over a couple trades at least here. The MBIO, Wolf, we'll get into those as we just said. Tesla, though, this is still making lower highs without it making that big break of support yet, right off of 291, 290-ish. Looks like it's trying to set itself up for a move, though. So I'm going to show you the market, the S&P, the SPY in just a bit because a lot of things are kind of pulling back collectively, but with there already being some heat on Elon, like him, hate him, hey, you guys got to learn to be quiet. So the stock is taking a big beating today already from overnight, then even now. So I'm going to put the Tesla trade on our watch list at least to start. TSLA, I don't know if the other like ETFs are even worth the time, but like TSLL, maybe you could try and short that, a little slower. It actually technically is twice as volatile, but in terms of the pace of the stock at the price, it's a little bit slow. What is the other one? TSLQ? Is that the inverse? This is one of the ones that goes inverse. So actually, if Tesla drops, this could go up. This is the cheaper one, though. This actually is 1x. So it actually goes the inverse complete to what Tesla itself does. So if Tesla is down 7.6%, this TSLS is up about 7.5, 7.6%. On the flip side. So you know what? I'll add this at least. Listen, if you're not shorting the stock, if you're not buying puts, at least realize this will go completely opposite to Tesla. So this could be a good long in hindsight. Now, with that said, though, let's just show the SPY. Then we'll go from top to bottom. So just before, if you're inside our live trading room, I just made this comment just a moment ago here. Genevieve. Okay, that's on you, Genevieve. Good. I didn't know if that was on me or you right there. Just caught your comment right there. All right, we're all good to go on the audio seats, right? So just going back to the market for right now, I wrote this just before inside our room. If you're just like Rick, Kathleen, Genevieve, Glenn, John, etc., and you're in our room, just read the chat. We're always trying to steer you in a good direction in terms of icebergs that are on level 3 or level 4, or in terms of the market altogether. I just wrote this a moment ago. I just said here, and I'll copy and paste for all of us on YouTube. But I'm like, SPY's at lower highs all day. I just wrote this at 2:13 p.m. Right before the break lower. But I was saying like, hey, lower highs all day. If we get a lower low, I can see the SPY dropping down towards 617 and some change. XX like 617 and some change, whatever it may be. Well, this was right at 213 and then splat just instantly after. Didn't take long for that to happen, huh? And we did clip a little down towards 217, but I feel like there could be more downside here. Just maybe this was even from the 5-minute chart. Give me a moment. Yeah, a little bit more from here, kind of just over the last day and a half from Wednesday or from Tuesday into Wednesday of last week, kind of building some good support right around 617, some change, a little bit higher from there. So I wonder if we'll get down towards there before the close. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen after that point, right? It was a good little intraday call out right there. But outside of that, I'm not going to try and forecast what's going to happen for tomorrow into Wednesday into Thursday. I am long term bullish. So if we don't bounce ASAP, then I'm sure we'll bounce in due time. But where I'm going to bring you towards here is right here, this candle back from June 25th. It gapped up and it like shook a small amount, but then it kept going higher. I wonder if this gap where it closed right around 607 and change, I wonder if that will fully get filled, right? You know what I mean? Like if this continues to drop off over the course of this week, perhaps, maybe it's possible we could see this like miniature gap get completely filled, then the move back up. But who knows though? I mean, we're still building support over the last few days from the last week here, right? Higher lows technically still. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen overnight? We got too many talking heads, honestly, in this market to drive the market up or down. Not even Trump or Elon. We're talking Bessent, Lutnick, you name them. So, with that said, let's go across the percent gainers and losers list here, see what else we can pull up. Maybe a couple of good shorts that we could work with on top, like alongside Tesla. This NBIO is a fun trade while it lasted. So, the big to do on this was just the float, right? Very low float stock. You're only getting so far at these trades. And if they only continue throughout the course of the day, it's basically like having Christmas twice because they normally don't stick throughout the course of the day. We see a lot of stocks tend to reverse or fall off, lose their momentum around 10:30 in the morning. This is pretty much on point. So, yeah, broke support here. It was a wrap from that point, and we move forward. This is kind of trying to break support right now. So, I'm not too keen to put Wolf on our main list just yet. I said I'd come back to that by the end of it all. All right, so we'll keep moving forward from here. This LGPS Log Pro Style, don't know the company, had a little pop early at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, but came back down from there. Asset, ASST. Now, this is not too surprising in terms of the retracement. You might think, all right, well, for a stock to go up 100% within about an hour, even a little less, perhaps you could say there, no surprise it's going to pull back, right? Probably needs to build new support. But here's the interesting thing on this trade. I just didn't notice it until when it happened. So it's not like I'm going to tell you, oh, we were on top of this trade from last week. I really don't believe we were. Maybe you guys were in the trading room and I had my flight canceled right from last week. Maybe I missed it. But, from Thursday, July 3rd, now I was here for this. Just we didn't really notice it at the time. It was from the after hours, in fact. So Thursday after the close, ASST announced a merger with whatever company Strive Enterprises, right? So looks like that's definitive to me. They announced the merger. And then just today at 12:55, I guess it's copy paste, right? It's literally a duplicate headline where it just says trading higher after the company announced it entered into amended merger agreement with Strive. Whatever they amended, I mean, led to a huge run up. I don't think it's what they included or added to this agreement. I just think it's a matter of day traders trying to run it up, seeing a good opportunity based on technicals. Maybe shorts do have to cover before there's a larger move up higher over time. But where you see these two lines on my graph, after this ended up flying upward, this was pretty much at the end of our workshop traders talk just before, I immediately went into, planning mode, kind of figuring out where my levels are on this trade. And I was saying that, hey, just at 1 o'clock, 1:08 in the afternoon, like ASST has a historical area. It's not just one exact penny price. It's kind of an area that was resistance, just looking back historically. Here and then here clean. It's both of them put together, right? So they're not too far off in price in that regard. So the combination of them together are going to act as resistance or then eventually support. But I didn't really buy this because the news was already out from Thursday in the afternoon. So we kind of missed the initial squeeze here at the time. But yeah, I mean, came right back down, which was not the surprise here at the end of the day. So we'll come back to this probably later throughout this week. If it wants to hold support, we'll come back to it. All right, we'll keep it moving though for right now. Curr, CURR. It's at the highs. For a cheap dollar stock, near $2 stock, you definitely want the spread to be pretty tight here. It seems like it is for now, but it could open up on the bid here a little bit on the ask, who knows. I want to see more out of it. I'll come back to this trade if we need to by the end. If I add it, great. If not, probably other stocks out there that look better. This SVRE is looking a lot better, actually. Pretty like slow and stagnant. Finally, this is making a better pop now, over $3, up at just about like 25 plus cents from there. This also you have to be careful of on the order book, but it seems like there's a little bit more like spark and life to this trade now. So I'll add it. Makes the cut, makes the list here, but see if there's any like even more obvious, trades out there that just kind of hit you upside the head, like this one. Like this one exactly right here. VOR, this thing moving up really well, but otherwise has a little bit better of an order book. Yet iceberg resistance at 295 and $3. Even after that, I guess even 305. So it does have a few levels it needs to break over or at least get up towards. But yeah, I'll put this on our watch list for right now, this VOR trade. All right, so now we're building up a little bit of a list here. I like it. I like it. See if there's anything looking better. SY. I know Fausto shouted this out from earlier. We were on top of this from last week. I do remember that. I'll be honest with you, I forgot the weekday. I don't remember if it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I remember we had called the stock out at one point last week. Kind of started to sneak up without us at first, but we've been on top of it since. And it's a little slow right now, but if it pops later on, I wouldn't mind calling it out afterwards, but we'll kind of keep it on the B list for the time being. KALV didn't look terrible either. COGT, this one's starting to break back over the VWAP. Spreads tolerable for now. Actually, some giant volume got filled here a moment ago. So what the hell just happened here? Big spike of volume right at 2:23 p.m. And I'll tell you what, I'll dwindle it down to about a 1 cent range here, pretty much right at 952, 953 the price. That's where your volume kicked in at, just on this one candle, right? It's like a high and a low, just off by 1 cent. So right there, that's where the big money got filled just a moment ago. It's moving up off of it. So that's how we'll kind of react here for right now. The COGT we'll put on our list. Real quick for all of us inside the live trading room, just so we're on the same page. Like you're wondering, like, well, why is he putting this one on the watch list compared to others? Let me just ask our more experienced students, like Leda, you can say Glenn, Chuck, Laureen, you can go with Brian as always, Wendy, and I can name a bunch of us. Steve H, just kind of seeing random names here in the chat. What's Fausto's whole philosophy here at Cyber Trading University? Obviously, we want to tighten our losses, right? You say follow the trends, right? But what are we exactly following, right? It's our whole MO. Follow the big money, right? Big money, smart money, hand in hand, right? So same answer there. Yeah, exactly. So when there's 500 plus thousand shares that get filled like that right here at this price, that piques my curiosity more than anything. Does that mean it's going to instantly fly up $1? No, but at least it's something that we're starting to focus more on now for this afternoon. And there could be a larger move ahead into this week. Who knows? All good answers, by the way. Sam, Barbara, Jim, Margaret, etc. IINN going back to this, and at the same time, I don't know why I'm holding this for no reason. Get my water breaks in here throughout the day, But IINN, at least for right now, we'll put this on our watch list. This is a famous, well-known pop and drop stock. If you've been a member of CT for a little while, you know that this trade up and down, left and right. This is probably as much data as I got, but you could tell up, down, up, down, up. So you can't trust it as far as you could throw it in terms of a swing move, but looks like a really nice day trading chart, though. Really nice intraday move, and looks like it has a decent order book for now. So got to respect that. And who knows, a day trade could turn into a swing trade in due time, but definitely not right now am I thinking that. So NAK, I think this might be it says minerals, but I thought it had to do with metals as well. NAK. You know what? No, this might have to do with the oil pipeline stocks, I thought. Either way, NAK is inching up a little bit here. This stock's almost too slow for my blood. If you think this is too slow for you, this is actually even too slow for me. You always see me focus on more tradable stocks, liquid opportunities, and I don't always need to focus on the shiny object in the room. More often than not, that's more of a gamble in terms of, or compared to a highly educated decision with your money. So going back to an SYTA trade, it's at the highs. This also looks a little slow, but I feel like this is better than the other one. Yeah, I'll put this on our list for now. Looks like there's more opportunity for this to try and break higher. BTBT, familiar name. Probably keep this in mind throughout this week and next, but not for this afternoon. Just a little slow right now. Maybe even if it bounces up, maybe you get an extra 10, 12 cents out of it. But we'll come back to that trade tomorrow. Workhorse, familiar name there for a few of us. Not doing much at this point. Clove, this thing's dead. Still got a few more to go through here, in fact. So let's see. I mean, if the markets are down, this inverse ETF might be moving, but not as much at this point. I know I was telling you earlier I was focused on a few trades from my side list here. Rocket Lab, ASTS, which not so much right now. That one's gone and sailed. What else did we have? I thought there was one more just off the top of my head I'm forgetting. But just going back to Rocket Lab, at least here, it's up nearly 7%. Higher lows. Pretty interesting move here, and definitely a very healthy chart in terms of the swing trades. So this one, I don't mind just kind of tagging towards the back end of our watch list for right now. It's a good day trade, good swing trade. It's a little bit more volatile, but it's a nice one to focus on. Maybe I said a run. I think maybe I said a run too as well, aside from the space stocks there. Run right now, Sun Run, pretty flat, very slow right now, so I'll pass at this point. All right, we'll hop over to the loser side, seeing if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. What the hell happened here? Oh my God, SKBL. Did we even call this thing out today? We've had our hands full. Yeah, no, not. There hasn't been a single text, single call out in this room. I just did the whole search up and down inside our chat. Nothing on SKBL, and that's fine. Some stocks just kind of pop up late, even though they were already moving. But it's hard to borrow for us. You can't short it on TradeStation. Probably is breaking all-time lows, so probably not a good buying opportunity, right? Yeah, so it's down so much percentage-wise that maybe at the end of the day, it's possible that shorts could cover. It is technically at a 50-cent level here. It's trading at $1.53 per share, right? Let me just ask all of us here. We were talking about healthy charts and not so healthy charts. I don't think this has too healthy of a chart, right? How much lower could this stock go? Let me ask Jim. Let me ask Barbara, Sam, Laureen, Bob. Got Lewis here. Shout out to Lewis. And got Ishan here and Michael and Chuck V, Chuck Z. It's not on Chuck Y, but how much lower could this stock go to? That big fat Long Island bagel, like we talked about in Traders Talk earlier, is zero. It can go to zero, folks. So I'm not too thrilled with buying this stock. I'm just telling you that there's a small chance you might get some people covering short, which would lead to a temporary little move up by the end of the day. I'm not going to put this on our main list at this point. I think that there's just better shorts and better stocks that you could possibly dead cat bounce. This one was interesting. Coors got bought out. Now that was a rumor from the other week. We talked about this, or the last week maybe even it was. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, not in this regard. This completely puked when the news came out. This is a weird one. I got to look further into the real news and terms and conditions of the agreement here. But this thing led to a big drop right away when the news came out. I think it was CoreWeave buying out Core Scientific. What's funny is normally when you see one company buy another company out, it's the purchasing company that drops. So this wasn't too surprising, at least at 8:30, this CRWV drop. But man, people had to have been pissed this morning when they were expecting a big breakout and this thing just faltered, came right back down. I'm not too interested in shorting it at this point, even though it technically is dropping. If anyone is making money on the short, kudos to you. But at this point right now, we're moving on. BMNR, it's down 16% or 15%, but still trading over $110 per share. So this has been a wacky trade from the last week or so. Your guess is as good as mine if this is even going to come back up again, if it's going to keep dropping. I have no position on this. I don't want to have any position on this. It is all good. All right, what else we got here? I definitely don't want to have a position on this RGC. This is some micro float stock. Ended up making some crazy short squeeze here. Came back down, balloon bursted. And now at this point, this is just going to keep making lower highs, I feel. Bull, I took a loss on early this morning. I thought there would have been more to a swing move for a bounce back up. I ended up jumping in really good. It was right off of 1320, 1325. Then I ended up averaging down when it pulled back early in pre-market, but then I got out as soon as the market opened up, it was pretty much right away. It was like out. I set a stop, just took me out instantly. I had it right below here. So you win some, you lose some. I try and give off the impression you win a lot, you lose a little. But obviously, either way, you lose, you lose. So done with this. I'm wiping my hands clean with this piece of crap stock. If they come out with good news and there's some sort of up movement again, maybe I'll day trade it. And maybe that could turn into a swing trade. But we've moved on to much, much, much greener pastures, because the longer this fails to make the move you want it to make, then it doesn't really show as good of as healthy of a chart over time. So I thought that there was a case to try and see support build. Not even from there. I was going to go here. That was it. 13.25. Listen, if it's not going to hold that, if it's going to keep trying to make lower highs from that point, then don't fight it. So maybe it does come back up in due time, but we move on. All right, what else we got here? Any other like shorts that we could work with now at this point? CLSK is down over 8%. What's going on there? Bitcoin mining stock. So this took a huge hit this morning. Holy smokes, right at the market open. Didn't even notice that. We did talk about some of the other mining stocks like Mara a little bit. I guess it was kind of dropping at the time. Riot was bouncing back up a little bit. Iron's been the hot hand, and this is not even a Bitcoin mining play for us anymore. This I'm just going to call as a nuclear play, AI data center play. But getting back to CLSK here, it's not really at the lows per se here for a short, a little slow. Again, just bigger and better battles to fight for a summer Monday afternoon. So, and if those battles are now on our watch list, if there's nothing else to put on our watch list from this point as we continue down the loser side, that's fine. We've built up a pretty decent list here already. So, no need to add anything else if it doesn't look good, quite frankly. So, QUBT, pop drop. This was all over the place early today. Rigetti had a good up move today. This is like kind of near Thursday's closing price, but this could be a better trade into tomorrow. RGTI as far as the quantums. All right. Anything else here, folks? Looking good. Jim, Michael, John. You got Margaret here. Latha, Douglas, Fred. Also here otherwise. Michael, what do you think about BTBT? Good stock for a swing trade, I think. Good potential swing trade. And that's a mining stock too, I guess. But it's going to need to take time for the swing trade to really develop. I know you don't like being told to wait for a higher price level. I'm not saying Mike. General population doesn't like being told to wait for a higher price level to buy. But there is a lot of resistance around this 5 area here. So if you're not going to buy off the 5 area once it tries to flip that resistance into support, I think there's a chance it can move up, but just the gripe I have on this trade is that it's like just kind of stuck in this consolidation. Had a great bounce off of $2, 195, and there's just jack in between. In between 2 and like the 5 area, there's like crap. So I like the company in terms of a potential move up, but that's just like theory and speculation. That's not as much based on good charting here. It's probably going to take some time for this move to materialize, unless if they themselves come out with like massive news, like if they get bought out or if they partner with like NVIDIA or whatever company, like Mag 7 company, and like they explode. That's where I'll tell you, like, I don't mind waiting for that news to come out if there's more conviction behind the move at that stage. But for right now, it had a great bounce from the end of last week. There could be more to it, but let's just wait a little bit for a better level to develop. KLTO from last week from Genevieve, did you have that? I didn't personally trade it, but looks like it's moving up a little bit right now. Again, another pop and drop from the other week, like you had brought up, but we've seen it trade better. So I'm not as focused on it for right now, even though it's up 14%. That's good. Probably found it somewhere on the gainers list there, right? Probably. There it is, number 24. So, folks, we got about like 5 minutes to go, or about 10 minutes rather, before we continue our broadcast inside our live trading room. If you're on YouTube, on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc. Sound like Willy Wonka there when I say that. But otherwise, be sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on YouTube. That is. Right down below, just down below at Cyber Trading U is our handle. You should see the actual red subscribe button on YouTube to hit, click, and you're good to go from there. But hey, join us inside our live trading room. Otherwise, you can go right down to the link scrolling down below on the bottom in blue, c2.co/trial to join. Charlene, Genevieve, Michael, Sharon, Dave, Barbara, Sam, Michael, Margaret, etc. All of our students inside our live trading room from there. Charlene, yeah, Doge, DOGE, not just the government agency. It's a crypto. It's not a stock. So unless if your stock trading platform has ability to like track crypto, you could track like Bitcoin and ETH on like TradeStation charts. I don't know if they let you track Doge. Nah, they don't let me track it. So it's just a crypto there, Charlene. All right, but otherwise, we're going to continue the broadcast live inside our trading room coming up. Yeah, this wolf trade's done. I wanted to finish up with this at least here, see if this would come back up. I don't think it is at this stage. So we're done with wolf. All right, folks. But hey, I like our list here for the close. Couple Tesla tickers to work with, and then a few more to work with otherwise. Rocket Lab, I actually really like the IINN trade for right now. Needs to stay over 150, but I think there could be more room on that. So we'll see if any of these look to work out coming up in just a bit. I'll be back on the mic coming up in just about 10 or so minutes, like I had said. I'll talk to you all soon.